welcome to our lipstick. So today I am filming a interview makeup look, and I wanted to do this for people who are going through the interview process and not really sure what to do makeup wise. They would like to know what's appropriate. So I actually have a lot of experience with hiring individuals and looking over resumes and things like that. So these are just kind of my tips on what's kind of appropriate to wear. Now this is more for jobs that are geared toward the business world, maybe retail, things like that. Not jobs that like involve fashion, or if you're trying to get a job at Sephora or MAC or stuff like that. This is not what we're talking about here. For jobs like that where it involves makeup, you have a little bit more playroom. But this is more kind of like a corporate business world kind of interview makeup where you want to keep everything very light and non-distracting. So this is the look that I came up with and wanted to show you guys today. So if you are interested in seeing how I created this look, just keep on watching. Okay, so before I start out with any makeup at all, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my nose ring. Now this is something that I have done in the past for every interview I've been to. Because you'd be shocked, there are a lot of companies that don't approve of nose rings for their employees. They just say that that's not the image that they want to promote. It certainly depends upon what company you're going to go apply for. But I find that it's better just to take it out. Because you don't know what the company's policies are and things like that, especially for me personally working in healthcare in a day-to-day basis. Healthcare isn't very lenient when it comes to the image that they want to project, so they make you take out your nose ring the majority of the time. So if you have, like, I leave my earrings in, that's totally fine, usually just because I don't want to be construed in a way that maybe people think I'm rebellious or whatever. I'll generally wear my hair down for an interview so it covers the earrings anyway. But people generally aren't overly concerned about earrings. It's the piercings on the face that are a little bit more controversial. So honestly, my advice to you is you're better safe than sorry, so just take it out. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to the rest of the face makeup. So first of all, I'm going to start out with primer. And today I'm going to be using my Almay Smart Shade Perfect and Correct primer. This is like a color correcting primer. I like to use it because, as you can see, my face is starting to like tame down as far as acne redness and stuff like that. So what I want to do is kind of color correct over those like really red acne marks. And this really helps. It has a weird smell to it, but it really helps as far as correcting the redness and then also hydrating for super dry skin. Alright, and I'm actually also going to be using the Benefit PoreFessional over my acne pitting today, just because I want to have a really relatively flawless looking face. Okay, next up is foundation, and today I'm going to be using the Revlon Colorstay Whipped Foundation. The reason I'm using this is because it's a 24-hour foundation and it has kind of a more natural finish. It's got a little bit of like satininess to it where it just looks like skin. And when you're going in for an interview, you want to look as natural as possible. The last thing you want to do is be creating like distracting looks on your face. So you want to make sure that you're careful about choosing your foundation, make sure it's the right color for your face. And don't go overboard. And then always make sure, even if your foundation is the right color, just make sure you take it down your neck a little bit, just in case, just so you don't have that like ring of foundation around your chin and stuff. And then as you can see, this is a really like nice natural looking foundation. You can still see my skin under it. My freckles aren't as prominent as they usually are in summertime, but I do have freckles and you can still see them naturally under this foundation. So it's just a really pretty like skin looking foundation. So now I'm going to go ahead and conceal the really like red spots that I have. You can't see too much with this foundation, which is really nice, but I just want a little extra coverage on those super red spots. So I'm going to go in with my MAC Studio Finish Concealer Duo. This one is in W10 and NC20. I use W10, which is the lighter one. And I just take this on a little, where's the I just take this on a little like pointed crease brush and dip it in there and then spot conceal with it. And just lightly tap around the area that I put it, and it works really well just to cover it up. Alright, so now for under eye concealer, I'm going to go in with my MAC Prolongwear concealer. This one is actually a little bit darker than my natural face. And the reason that I'm using this one's an NW15. And the reason I'm using it is because I don't want a highlighting concealer. I don't want to draw too much attention to my face with that super highlighted look. I just want to conceal the under eye circles. That's it. I want to neutralize the purpleness that I have. So I'm just going to use a concealer that is my color. This one's a little bit dark, but we'll ignore that. But it's just, again, trying to give the most natural face coverage. Don't want to do anything that's going to draw too much attention and be distracting. And when it comes to concealer, I really try to push that up into the lash line because that's where I have really like a lot of redness under there, and that tends to make you look really tired. It also makes you look hungover, and like that's the last thing you want to look like at a job interview is if you're hungover. So I really like to get that under there. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and set everything, and I'm just going to use the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. I want my face to stay kind of as natural looking as possible, so I'm not going to use a powder that's overly shimmery or has any like super brightness to it. So we're just going to use this plain Stay Matte powder. It's a great one. And I'm literally going to set my entire face with this, including the under eyes and also the eyelids. Where I put the concealer to color correct. So now you can see that my face just kind of looks like it's just kind of like naturally just blank. Nothing's super highlighted or anything like that. It's just concealed at this point. So we're gonna go in and I'm gonna do eyebrows next. And when I do my eyebrows for interview purposes or work purposes, I always go in with a powder. Just because this gives you a really natural kind of brow. I really do not recommend going into a job interview with the Instagram brow, the like super carved out brows. I mean, this is like, if you're not going into a job in like makeup, if you're going into like a corporate type of business job, I recommend not doing the Instagram brow because it's just not, it's not professional looking. You want to make sure you keep everything kind of minimalistic. So that's why I use brow powder. It's just really, really natural looking. So I'm just going to go in with my angled brush. This is a C413 Brow Duo from Crown Brush. I love this brush. It's just a nice angled brush with a spoolie on the end. Just dip this into the powder and fill them in. I generally start with kind of like the bottom of the brow and do create a little bit of a defined shape down there. But for the most part, when you're using brow powder, it doesn't look overly crisp like using a pencil or a pomade would do. It just kind of makes it look like you have naturally more full brows. Okay, so now I will go in with a brow gel. This is actually just a clear brow gel from Sonja Kashuk. It's turned brown because of the applicator. It's like a mascara one applicator. And when you're putting it over like brow powder that's brown like this, it just kind of turns the entire product brown, which isn't a big deal. Alright, so now we're going to move on to eyes. And now when it comes to interview makeup, like I said, I've been saying, keep it minimal, don't do anything that's overly distracting. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use any shimmers. We want to keep the eyes very natural looking, so I'm going to just be using all matte shadows. And I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. And I'm going to be sticking to these neutral brown shades over here. So I'm going to start out with the lighter brown shade here, this really light one. I'm just going to take that on a fluffy crease brush and start to work this into the crease. And this is really just kind of acting as a transition shade On my light skin, you can barely even see it. All right, so now we're gonna go in with the next brown here. This is the lighter brown. And we're gonna work this into the crease. And I'm not making it too intense. I just want kind of like a light wash of color. It doesn't need to be super dark, but we're just defining that crease a little bit. So now we're gonna go in with the darkest color, and I'm gonna take this on the same fluffy brush, dip my brush in there, and just kind of work it in the outer V. Got that in the outer corner there. You can see this is a very light eye look. I'm gonna go in with my last shade, and I'm actually gonna go into the white right here and be using that as my lid shade. So I'm gonna take a shader brush and just pack the color on the brush and get that all over the lid. Okay, so as you can see, it's kind of a nice light natural eye. The only other thing I'm going to do as far as eyes is I'm going to go in with my NYX Wonderpencil, and I'm going to put this into my waterline down below just to cancel out the redness. This is a nude or flesh colored pencil, and it's just going to help to brighten up the eyes, make me look more awake, and cancel out the redness. And then I'm going to go in and curl my lashes and apply my, what is this, CoverGirl Supersizer mascara. Alright, so now I've got my mascara and stuff on. I just wouldn't recommend going with falsies to a job interview unless you absolutely need them. Like if you have really, really short lashes that you can't see at all, feel free to go with falsies. Just make sure you keep them kind of natural. So next step is going to be blush, and today I'm going to be using the Tarte Exposed Blush, and I'm using this because it's a very like natural color. It looks like a natural flushing of the cheeks. So I'm going to go in with this on a fluffy brush, and I'm going to concentrate this mostly toward the back of my cheekbones, just up here, not really going on the apples of the cheeks like I usually would. I'm trying to create more of a sophisticated look, a more lifted look, because we're not going to be contouring and we're not going to be bronzing, just because there is not really the need for that for a job interview. Like I said, just keep it simple, non-distracting. So I'm just using this color on the back of the cheekbones like this, and it just looks like kind of a natural flushing color. For me personally, I would not go in with highlighter, but I know people love highlighter so much, so I am going to include one in this video. I'm just going to use my Sephora highlighter in, this is their Microsmooth Illuminator in Light Beam. It's a pink based highlighter. It's very natural looking on the skin. So I'm just gonna go in with that and lightly dust it on the cheeks, because I know a lot of people love highlighter, and because this one's so natural, it's not a big deal. Alright, and the very last step today is going to be lips, and I would suggest going with something kind of neutral. Not super nude, but maybe like a neutral kind of pink, kind of a subdued mauve. Something more natural. So what I'm going to go in with is Celebrity Skin from Jeffree Star. And the reason I'm using this is because it's a Longwear liquid lipstick. And the last thing you want in an interview is lipstick on your teeth. So this Longwear liquid lipsticks ensure that your lipstick stays in place. You can make sure it's not on your teeth because it dries down. So this is a great option, and it's a nice neutral color. Alright guys, and this is the completed makeup look. It's such a nice, neutral, soft makeup look. It's not too overwhelming. It's not going to be distracting. So I really hope that this video was helpful for anyone who's going through the interview process or is looking for jobs, or even just is looking for a nice natural makeup to wear to work. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I put out new ones every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.